Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Is everything all right?
Yes, sir. All right. Almost
Oh,
102 participants join now.
okay. So, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thanks to CEO BD Ren because he after the last class he suggested me a lot. So I think it will improve our teaching as well as a learning outcome. So thanks the UGC authority, and I'm today what we'll do, we will start some lab work. We'll start some practical work from the last class, and then after that we'll learn how to secure our web server. So we are now learning how to find out the vulnerability. So how to we now know how we can attack the web server, but we don't know how we can secure the web server. So we will learn that one as well. So from the last class, what we'll do, we'll first uh, in the last time we had first attack called DDoS attack. DDoS attack. So how we can do this one? And we are using the tools, but all time I am trying to tell you one thing, that this is ethical hacking. Maybe mistakenly we will use or unintentionally we will use one website just to tell you that okay, you can do a DDoS attack like this, but make sure that you will not test in future with that website, because we will put it as a randomly as a test case, but please don't use this one in the next time to test it, otherwise it will be unethical. So in the ethical, we are learning it in a ethical manner. Now for the DDoS attack, we have the low orbit ion cannon. Yeah, this is the LOIC. We will use this one, how we can do the DDoS attack. So now how we can do it, we can get the iOS. Yes. Yes, this is the screen where we can do it. So here we can put the URL name. So I will put the random URL name. For example, if I put xyz.com here, I don't know whether the xyz is here or not, or if whatever I can do, I can put you the real website. So, do you want me to put the real website? We can put it real website. So what we can do, we can put real website like bubt.edu.bd. This is the real website, and then we'll do the lock on. So when we click the lock on, you see we are getting the one IP address. That means this website is using this IP address. So now what we can do with that one? Now we can do what type of method we are using. For example, we can use TCP, UDP, or HTTP. We can select UDP, and then here is the port number and then the timeout. So this is the speed, faster or slower. This is the faster. Now, if we just start here, if we click here, then automatically it is starting, it is requesting the packet and stop flooding. What it will do, it will flood that IP address and it will start blocking. It will start blocking, it will make the busy. So using this one, we can do the DDoS attack. So this is the very good tools about the DDoS attack. So, and then from the last class, what is our next one? So you guys, if you have any question, do you want me to answer the question now or later?
Sir, question answer at the end of lecture. I think it would be better.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yes,
so.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then, so this is the DDoS attack. So what we can do, we can go for the next one. Next one is the brute force attack. Why we use the brute force attack? Yeah, in the last class we have told you that using the brute force attack, we normally hack the password, because with the username and password, we can do the brute force attack. That means, well, with the one single username, we'll test multiple password. So we'll have multiple username and multiple password, and using the brute force attack, we can using the brute force attack, we can mess the password. So how we can do this one? We have the, for brute force attack, and we have the one tools that is called BARP. BARP is the easiest way for brute force attack, and what we can do, we can do multiple things with the BARP. So for this reason, I like to we like to use the BARP system. So where it is? So what we can do, for the BARP attack, Mr. Monirujjaman can run that one, the BARP suite. He can run it and update. Start BARP. BARP suite is a very good suite. So this is a very good platform to do the brute force attack. So first, what we need to do, what is here? So we need to, oh, you don't have any setup information here? Right. So what we need to do, yep, we have the, here we have put the IP address and the port address. This is the listener. So in the proxy and options, we will put the IP address and the port address. That means all the requests will come through this IP address and this port address. And then what you need to do, you have to go to the Firefox. You have to go to the Firefox. Firefox network setting. Here by default is no proxy. So we have to put this one as a manual configuration. And in the manual configuration, you see here is the IP address, HTTP proxy, and this is the port address. And then put OK. And then put OK. So now, again, so what we can do, now you see what we can do. In the toolbar, we have written this one. Here we put the admin and as well as password. And in here, what is that one? So in here, all the request is coming on here. All the request will come on here. Here is intercept is on or off. Now, since if you put the intercept is on, then you have to put forward. If you put forward, then the request or packet will pass, and if you don't forward, then it will not pass. So now the intercept is on, and if you put the intercept off, then the packet will pass automatically. If you put like this one, you see what will happen. The packet is going off. Packet is going. So, but you will have all the information. You will have all the information it will have. So now what we can do, we can put you will have the information, and so if you put the intercept on, it will stop until it will stop until you put the forward, until you put the packet forward. So we are getting, so what is the admin panel? So we are getting so yes, I will request Mr. Monirujjaman to run this one and tell you from the very beginning again, so that you guys can learn this one. So please.
Hello. So we are doing brute force here, and from very fast we need to know how brute force is working here. So all of our browser traffic will go through brute force, because we are connected with the IP address, and you already said we are connected with a network, and brute force is listening for all of this traffic. So how we can do intercept? We can do intercept in any request here, and we can see, you can see all browser traffics are already there. So how we will do brute force attack using this? So here we can see a login panel, username and password. So I don't know whether the what is the username or what is the password. So we'll do a step-by-step brute force attack here and see how we will use brute force Burp Suite for doing brute force attack. First of all, we need to capture the packet of a password changing request. So here you can see a form, and we are just trying to put any username and just a random password, then login. You see username and password are incorrect. So if I go to Burp, I can see all of this request, and I need to identify the request for the last request, and here it is, this one. So last, when I click on login, this request was sent to the server, and from there you need to see what was the server request, and you can see username admin and password was sent to the server. So what we will need to do if we want to apply brute force here, we need to right click on this request, and then we will click on this send to intruder. So after clicking send to intruder, you will see you have to go to this tab intruder. From there you can position. So after that you will type attack type, select cluster boom, then we need to clear all of this session, PHP session ID clear, security clear, login clear, and we will do brute force for username and password. So those are variable here, and so we have two lists, one for user and another for password. So this is our option panel, and then we will forward to payloads, and as we have two lists, we will find two lists here. The payload set 1 is for username and payload 2 for password. So we will set some password, random username here, suppose admin user. Suppose we have all those, we want to do a brute force attack with this three username, and we will set a available password. We will 1 2 3 4 password, any random string password 1 2 3 4 5 6 password, or use password. The second list is here. So after that, so we have set up, our setup is done, and we will use this incorrect as response. So our request will check this response and report us. So we will add this here, incorrect. So we are ready for the attack, and we will start the attack now. So you see, we are sending brute force attack, first admin and then password, admin password, and we are checking if the incorrect word is matched in the response. So if the incorrect word is found, then there will be a checkbox. But when I put a correct password, so there will be no incorrect response. Hence, we can see first request admin and password was 1 2 3 4, and then incorrect was found. At the 10 number 10 request, you see admin and password is password. There is no checkbox. That means when I send this request with admin and password, and there was no incorrect word in the response, that means this password what was correct. And this is how you can do brute force attack easily with Burp Suite, and with connecting with Firefox. I think if you have any question, please write us. We will reply later.
And then
Brute force and
man in the middle attack.
okay. So next we will go to man in the middle attack. We showed it in last class. So for man in the middle attack, I will have to use another computer. I am switching to my Linux computer, Ubuntu. So I'm requesting admin to make me a panelist here.
Hello.
Hello, yes, Mr. Monirul
Hi.
Jaman, you can use you writing. Now you are
Okay, okay.
panelist.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you. So
Okay.
I need to share. So for doing man in the middle attack, I can hear echo. Where is the problem? This one. Can you mute it? Okay. Hope everything is fine now. Okay, for doing ERP scoping, I am using Ubuntu, and I have installed one software called Ethercape. So using this software, you can do ERP posing easily. So I will show you the step. First of all, you need to install the software in your computer, then just open it from your start bar. If you open the software, you will see 4 menu item, and first of all, you will have to click on unfilled sniffing. Just click on it. So then okay, so we are ready. Then you need to configure your uh, software for the attack, and as I said, you must be connected with a network and all of these hosts. Then you can target any of them and capture their packet. So here you can see target. In menu you can see target, host, view, MITM, filter, and some others menu. So first of all, we need to click on host, and we will scan for host. So I am scanning. Then after scanning, I can see a host list. That means currently in this network only one computer is connected, and if you do this scan in any public network, you will see lots of all available device will be listed here. So you will get it easily. But right now, as I am connected with a single network, and only I am the person who is connected with the Wi-Fi, so you can see only one. So then you can do target. You need to do target, and from this you IP address, just right click and add to target one. So this is our target. And if you want to capture data from all of this IP, you can just select any of this network and you can add to target in this way. After that, you can see here the console is showing one host added to the host list, this IP address. And after that, we want to see MITM, and we want to see all the traffic. Click on connection. Okay. Then I will capture TCP packet, UDP, and other all packet I will capture, which is going through the network. And I can see the port number and the host. And after this setting, we will start the actual attack. So click on MITM, that means mid in the middle, and then select ARP poisoning. So if you select this, just select this one, and if you start okay. So now our connection is established, and you can see all of this. If any user connected with this network, if this user do any browse anything from his device, all of this packet will be listed here. You can see a list of previous packet. So you can see any packet, any transfer. If this is go through 443, that means it is SSL. So you can just see the packet, encrypted packet. But if any user use 80 port, you will be able to see all of this traffic in plain text. So that's why SSL is needed. And after this, maybe I can show. Let me send some traffic. Okay, I'm browsing some website from my mobile. So you can see all of those traffic are incoming, and if I reload, traffic will be changed. So after the attack is finished, you can stop. You can stop MITM attack. When you are done, you can check all of this traffic. You can see the encrypted network, and I have not browsed uh, uh, any port with 80. That means without SSL, I have not browsed anything. That's why I cannot read any data. But in your real attack, you will be able to see lots of traffic which is not in 443 port. So I think you can simply install this software and you will be able to test it. And this is just for teaching purpose, and I hope you will never use it for do any harm. Uh, this is for learning purpose. So after this, we will we have discussed another method, directory traversal. We will show this. And you can see this is a normal web app, just loading the home page, and here is a just basic HTML page. And how this was coded, I can show you. This is a simple script. This is taking the request from the file, from the URL, and including the name. So in my request here, you can see the home.php, and this page, this file is in our root directory, and it's loading from the home.php file, the HTML loading. So simply we can do, we can include from our root directory, as we showed, etc.password. That means here we are no longer including the home.php file. We are loading from etc/password, which is in our Relax root directory. You can see all of my user are here. And so using these tricks, you can easily see who is my all of my file and all of my directory. Just home. So let me explain how this is working. Here you can see a simple get request. This script is written in PHP, and this is a simple script. The file name is getting from the URL, and this is just including the file. And what if I put home.php? That means in the same directory I have another file, home.php. you can see it here, home.php, and I have all of this code. I have all of this code for my simple web page. But the trick is, instead of loading this file, we are just loading from root directory. We are loading from another directory. And this is the attack. So I think that's all practical for the current class, and I think it will be good if you can answer now the technical question.
No.
Okay, so we'll start the session for securing, how to secure those things, and
Yes.
I hope you will enjoy it. So I am requesting admin to okay, we'll see web server attack, and
Yeah, prepare your computer.
okay.
Thank you, Mr. Monirujjaman. So he is preparing the other laptop for web server attack. So in the meantime, we can start the next, how we can secure. In the last class already we have finished these are. So now we will start. Yes, this is the slide from where we will start today. So how we can secure our web servers. And so in the server setup, in the web hosting server setup, so during the setup time, we need to use, if we use two types of firewall, then it will be very good to protect the network system as well as your application. So where will be the position of that one? The position will be the one is external firewall and another one is internal firewall. The external firewall is will be attached to the internet, and the internal firewall will be attached to the intranet and as well as the mail server, web server, and FTP server. So these are the position where we can install the firewall. And if the internal firewall, it will control the internal traffic or internal traffic, and the external firewall, it will control the external traffic. So if something will come from the external firewall, then from the internet, then external firewall will protect your server. And if something will come from the internal traffic, then your internal firewall will protect the server. So in this way, we can install the web server and as well as the application to protect your server. And another control measure is patches update. So what we can do here? We can scan for existing vulnerabilities. Number one, we have a few steps to do it. What we can remember: first, we need to find out the existing vulnerabilities, and the existing patch and update the server software regularly. So we have to find out the vulnerabilities, and then we need to find the existing patch and then update the server software regularly. Because if you have the new software, if you have the new version of the software, it will add some new sort of security patches and new types of security. So if you update it regularly, especially the operating system as well as other patches, then it will secure its system more. And then before applying any service pack, hotfix, or security patch, read and peer review all the relevant documentation. Yeah, before applying anything, before installing or applying anything, please read the manual and apply all the update regardless of their types of an as needed basis. So always update your system, always update the operating system of your devices, always update the operating system of your server, and always update the pairs in a regularly basis, whatever the recommendation you have. But what in Bangladesh and in this country, in the Asia Pacific region, what we can do, well, actually we don't use the license copy of the software. If you don't have the license copy of the software, then actually it's a different issue. So what we are telling you, you are using the license copy, and then if you have the license copy, then you update a regularly basis. And then test the service packs and hotfixes on a representative non-production environment prior to being deployed to the production. Because before going for the real environment, what you can do, you can test in a experimental basis or non-real environment, so that you can test the security of that patches or hotfixes. And then ensure that service packs, hotfixes, and security patch levels are consistent on all domain controllers. So you have to ensure that everything consistent with the domain controller you are using. And then ensure that server outages are scheduled and complete set of backup tabs and emergency repair disks are available. And this is the actually important things. Recently I know one hacking system. The hackers hacked the system, and they are the billion dollar company, but unfortunately they don't have any backup system. They don't have any tab or anything, and the hackers hacked it, and hackers destroyed everything, and then they have to spend around 10 bitcoins to fix it. So you have to have the all the things backup, all the backups, and as well as repair system. And I already told you that just few weeks before the Malaysian airlines were not working, and they took 3 days to get it active. So as IT professionals, we have to have the backup and recovery system, so that we can run the system within at least 2 hours. And then have a backup plan that allows the system and enterprise to return to their original state prior to the failed implementation. Already I told you about this one. And schedule periodic service pack updates, and you have to also maintain the periodic updates as a part of operation maintenance, and as well as never try to have more than 2 service pack behind. So what you need to do, you need to upgrade the periodic upgrade the services, because of that after 1 week or 2 weeks, if you do a periodic update, then your system will be more secured. And what are the protocols we can use? What are the things we can use? We have to block all unnecessary ports, internet control message protocol traffic, and unnecessary protocols such as NetBIOS and SMB. So make sure no unnecessary no unnecessary ports and protocols will be on. So only the protocols and only the ports will be on which you have you need it, which you will require it. But please don't on it any unnecessary ports. And then harden the TCP/IP stack and consistently apply the latest software patches and updates to the system software. So well, always TCP/IP stack you have to make it more secure, and you have to put in a more secured manner, and also the you have to use the latest software patch and updates the software regularly. And also if you use the insecure protocols like telnet, pop3, smtp, and ftp, and take appropriate measure to provide them secure authentication and communication. For example, you can use the IPsec policies using the insecure protocols because these are known to everybody and easily your system can be hacked. So if you need to have the remote access, if you need a remote access, and make sure for remote access the connection is secured properly. So and if you need the, for example, for a network device or for a server, if you need to have a remote access, please do it in a secure manner. For example, you can use tunneling and encryption protocol, and also disable WebDAV if not used by the application, or keep secure if it is required. So WebDAV you don't need it, so make sure that it is disabled. So what we'll do if the for the accounts, so for the web server, now first we are taking measurement about the patches and updates, and then protocols, and now about the accounts. So what you need to do about the accounts? So for the accounts, remove all unused modules and applications extension. So yeah, you don't need any modules which are unused, and as well as application extensions. And what we do, we always use default user accounts, default user account during installation of an operating system. And the most of us when we install a security device or networking device or server, what we do, we just intentionally, without knowing anything, we use the default setting. Please never do the default setting. Make sure never do the default setting for your operating system or for any device, and will never do the user accounts in the default settings. So and then when creating a new web root directory, grant the appropriate NTFS permission. So when you are creating the root directory, make sure that you are giving the appropriate permission. So if someone does not need some sort of permission, so please don't give that type of permission. So think what type of permission you are giving to the root directory, because you know the in a directory traversal method, the attacker will know the username and password, username, and if he know the username, then easily he can find out your password is in brute force attack. So make sure that you are giving the right permission to the root directory. And then eliminate unnecessary database users and stored procedures. So lots of unnecessary database users you will have. So if you have unnecessary users, please remove it, because you know why the attacker already we have seen we have seen in the lab work that if you have, they are getting the usernames, and if they get the usernames, then easily the more number of users you will have, the more number of vulnerability you will have, because they will try with one user and then password, they will try another user and password. So if you have more users, they will try more frequently to break your database. So eliminate all unnecessary users from the database and procedures, and follow the principle of least privilege for the database application to defend against SQL query poisoning. So follow the principle. Make sure the first you will give the least privilege, and then you start increase the level of privilege that you are giving the user high privilege or not. And then use secure web permissions, NTFS permission, and .NET framework access control mechanism include URL authorization. So please make sure you will use the secure web permissions, and then slow down brute force and dictionary attacks with strong password policies. For example, you are using normal 4 characters or 5 characters or 6 character passwords, and already we know that we will have password cracking system. One is dictionary attack. Easily, if you have the 1 2 3 4 5, they can easily match your password using brute force attack. So please make sure you will have the uppercase character, lowercase character, special symbol, and as well as the digits. So if you have the long number of characters, if you have more characters, the password will be more strong. So always recommend for the stronger password. And then run processes using least privilege accounts as well as least privilege service and user accounts, and always make sure that you are running processes using least privilege and as well as a least privilege account and service, and as well as the user account. So make sure you have to maintain these are to secure your web server. So what will you do using the files and directories? So we have some files. We'll have files and directories. So what we will do? What we have to eliminate unnecessary files within the .jar files. So if you have any jar files, just eliminate unnecessary files in these folders, and then eliminate sensitive configuration information within the bytecode. So if you have any sensitive configuration, eliminate this one, and then avoid mapping virtual directories between two different servers or over a network. And what we can do, we try to map one server with the another server using a mapping system, because with the virtual directories and as well as mapping. So please don't do it. Avoid this type of mapping through the network. And then monitor and check all the network service log, website access log, and database server log. So you have to have the monitoring system to check the log files, and log files for network, log files for database, and as well as log file for the website. So in this case, what you can do, you can check the user and password, the failed user and password, the status is failed. If someone is trying to attack your database, attack your network, or attack your website, then the username and password, you will see that this is failed or incorrect password. If you have failed attempt several times, you have to have some sort of counter measurement system that definitely he is trying to attack your system. So for this reason, because you know the brute force attack multiple times is trying to attack your web server, and most of the times it is making fails. Just only one or two times it will pass. So if someone is trying frequently, then make sure you have to make sure that he is an attacker, and you have to disable this user. And then disable serving of directory listenings, directory listings. So if you make a directory listing, then easily attacker will get the directory list, and he will try to get the important information from this directory. And eliminate the presence of non-web files such as archive files, backup files, text files, and header and include files. And in the web server or uh, uh, in the server, please try to eliminate this type of files, because in the same server please don't put the archive files, please don't put the backup files, and easily the attacker can attack the text file. So make sure that you are not putting the text file in your server, and also the header and include files. And disable serving certain file types by creating a resource mapping. And never try to make a resource mapping using the file. So I told you earlier, please don't try to map anything with the file. And then ensure the presence of web application or website files and scripts on a separate partition or drive rather than that of a operating system logs and any other system files. So make that your scripting file and as well as your website and web application files will be in a separate manner. Please don't put it together. So in this way we can secure our files and as well as the directories. So what we can do during the countermeasure. So we have 4 things to do to secure your web server. Number 1 is patches and updates, and number 2 is protocols, and number 3 is accounts. You have to secure your accounts, and then files and directories. So these are the countermeasures you can do. Now, how you can detect that someone is trying to hacking your web server? So how you can detect? So already we have some tools using website change detection system to detect hacking effect. So already we have this one, the website change detection system. So what this system do? This system will detect running specific script on the server and detects any changes made in the existing executable files. So if there is any change in the executable file, so it can easily detect it. And periodically comparing the hash values of the files on the server with their respective master hash value to detect the changes made in the code base. So what it can do, it will have the current hash value and it will have the master hash value. So if there is anything change in the hash values, then it will compare periodically, then it will make an alert that okay, there is some sort of problem or there is some sort of change. If there is anything change, that means the hacker is trying to hack your system. And then alerting the users upon any change detection on the server. Yes, I told you that the user will know that make an alert system so that the user can know that yes, there may be some changes. And for what is the things you can use, website cds is a script. You can use this one, and it will check your entire web folder to detect any changes to made your code base and alert you using email. So if you use website cds, this is that means website change detection system, and it will detect and alert you. So very simple is the detection procedure. And then how to defend. So even how to defend from the attackers, how to defend your web server from the attackers. So first you have to secure your ports. So you have to audit your ports regularly to ensure that any insecure or unnecessary service is not active on your web server. So to defend your web server, you have to check the port first whether any insecure and unnecessary service is active or not. If anything, please stop it right now and limit inbound traffic to port 80 for HTTP and port 443 for HTTPS, because you have two ports, one is 80 and another one is 448 and another one is 443, and using those ports the traffic is coming. So using those ports the traffic is coming. So and limit your inbound traffic, the traffic which one is coming, put the limitations, and then encrypt or restrict the intranet traffic. And you have to restrict the intranet traffic, and as well as you have to encrypt it. And number 2 is server certificate. Ensure, please make sure that certificate data ranges are valid. The certificates are valid, and there are some, for this validity there are some sort of the third-party digital certificate. You can use that one, the digital certificates, and the certificates are used for the intended purpose. You have to ensure the certificate data range are valid, and as well as the purpose, which purpose these certificates are used, and ensure that the certificate has not been revoked, or certificate public key is valid all the way to a trusted root authority. And certificate it make sure that it cannot be revoked, and as well as the public key you are using, this is valid until the trusted root authority. And number 3 is machine.config, and what you can do, protected resources are made to them HTTP forbidden handler, and unused HTTP modules are removed. So you have to protect this one. You have to protect the HTTP forbidden handler, and as well as you have to remove the HTTP module, unused HTTP modules. The modules which are not using, please remove it, and ensure that the tracking is disabled. That means trace enable equal to false. Make sure this one, because otherwise anyone can trace your. And also the debug compiles are turned off. You have to make debug compiles turned off. And then code access security. What is the code access security? Implement secure coding practice. So always during the implementation phase, you have to secure the you have to make a code like in a secure manner, and restrict code access security policy by settings. You have to restrict the code access security policy and configure IIS to reject URLs that that already we know that using // this is the directory traversal, and please strongly reject the URLs using .. because using those type of // the attackers attack the system. So now how to defend it. So in this case, the more thing is the URL scan as well as services. In the URL scan is a security tools that restrict the types of HTTP requests that IIS will process. It will restrict the different types of HTTP requests, so we can use this one, and as well it will block the specific HTTP request. The URL scan security tool helps to prevent potentially harmful requests. It will detect the harmful request, and then it will block those type of requests. And URL scan screens all the incoming requests to the server by filtering the request based on rules and that are set by the administrator. Because now whatever the request will come to your server, and you have to scan it first using URL scan. And to set up the URL scan, you have to make some sort of rules that which packet can come into your server and which are not. So using the URL scan, you have to protect your web server. And what are the services? URL scan can be configured to the filter HTTP query, string values and other HTTP headers to mitigate SQL injection attack while the root cause is being fixed in the application. So what you can do, if you configure the URL scan to filter the HTTP query, it can protect your server from the SQL injection. And also it provides W3 formatted logs, because this is an international standard log system, and it will give you the URL scan will give you the W3 formatted log system, and which will secure your system, and you can see all the information from using this log system. Now, how to defend against HTTP response splitting and web cache poisoning. So we have three things. Now for the splitting and poisoning, we have three things to do. One is from the server admin, one is for the application developer, another one is proxy server. So what we can do from the server admin? From the server admin, use always the latest version of the web server software. Always use the latest version, and because it always uses the more secure product, more security things. And then regularly update patch operating system and web server, and run web vulnerability scanner. So these are the things from the server admin. You have to use the latest version of the web server software, and always regularly update the operating system and web server, and then always run the vulnerability scanner so that you can find out the vulnerability of your system and to protect your web server. And what about from the application developer? From the application developer, restrict web application access to unique IPs. Please make a restriction so that you have to restrict the web application access to the unique IPs, and then disallow carries return. Please don't allow the carries return and line feed, because they're using this type of character. The hackers, they're trying to get access to your root directory. So never allow this one. And then comply with the RFC 2616 specification for HTTP protocol 1.1. And this RFC 2616, this is the one secure standard for the application developer, and you have to follow this or you have to comply with this one. And I have another suggestion for the developers. And in every place I request the developer for this one, please sorry, please never use the API or the standard function in your development cycle or in your coding system. If you use the API, or if you use the standard function during your coding system, you don't know what type of vulnerability are there in the API, as well as in your standard function. And there are lots of security holes in the API and as well as standard function. So please don't trust the API and as well as the standard function. So always try to make a raw coding techniques in your application developer, because recently I'm trying to develop a messenger system, and I request them, please don't use any API, use the raw coding techniques, so that it will be more secure. And in the proxy server, so these are the things for the application developer. And what about for the proxy server? In the proxy server, so avoid sharing incoming TCP connection among different clients. So you will, if there is few incoming TCP connection, you will have a few TCP connection. Please don't share with the client. Don't share it, and use different TCP connection with the proxy for different virtual hosts. So if you have the different host, please make sure that you will have a different TCP connection, and maintain request host header correctly, and because you have to implement it for the secure communication system with the host channel. So now, how to defend against DNS hijacking? How to defend it? So how to defend against DNS hijacking? Now, choose ICANN accredited registrar, because ICANN is a security organization, and if you please use their accredited register, and encourage them to set register log on the domain name, and you have to log the register on the domain name, and safeguard the registered account information. So you have to make sure there is a safeguard on the account information, and include DNS hijacking into incident response and business continuity planning. So you have to have the system in your incident into your incident response team, or incident response management, or in your business continuity plan, that if there is a DNS hijacking system, what will you do? So or you have to what will you do if there is not if there will not be happening any DNS hijacking? You have to include this one in incident response and business management continuity plan. So you have to monitor the DNS using the tools or services, so that the DNS IP address and as well as alert. So what you need to do, you need to monitor the tools, DNS monitoring tools and services. You have to use it so that they can monitor the IP address and as well as alert system. And then avoid downloading audio and video codecs and other downloads from untrusted websites. So as a security officer, please make sure that you will not download any audio or video codes, because there are lots of malware in this system. And as well as, please don't try to download anything from the untrusted website. And then install antivirus program and update it regularly. And please make sure that you are using antivirus in your system. And another thing is that please don't try to use the free antivirus, because most of the free antivirus, they are not protecting your service properly. So what you need to do, you have to use the original version of the antivirus, and then change the default router password. The default password not from the router. You have to change all the password, your router, your switch, and your server, your user account, whatever the device you are using, whatever the software you are using. Please don't use any default password and username. Please make sure that you are using your own system. So these are the things you have to defend against DNS hijacking. So what are the patches and hot fixes? The hot fixes is an update to fix a specific customer issue, and these are not distributed outside the customer's organization, not always distributed. And hot fixes, for example, if something some request is coming from the customer base, then you are fixing it and then you are providing it to the client. This is called hot fixes. And if any, because in terms of security, if anything comes to the any request comes from the customer and you are updating it and fixing it and then deliver it to the customer, but it is within the customer organization, it will not go outside the customer organization. What is the patch? Patch is a small piece of software designed to fix problems, security vulnerabilities, bugs, and improve the performance of computer programs, or it's a supporting data. It's a normally version of a software and it is a public for all. This is not the customer based. The patches is the it is for all, and user may be notified through emails or through the vendor's website. So patches, when a patch is coming, so the users will be notified. So a patch can be considered as a repair of job to a programming problem. Yes, this is a repair of the job. So this is the hotfix, difference between hotfix and the patches. And now, what is the patch management system? How will you manage the patches? So patch management is a process is to ensure the appropriate patches. Ensure that the appropriate patches are installed on your system and help to fix the known vulnerabilities. Because if you install the patch management system, will always help you to fix the known vulnerabilities. So what will do the patch management system? Patch management system will do the 5 things. Number 1, detect. So the patch management system, this tool will detect the missing security patches. What type of security is missing? It will inform you. And then assess the issues and its associated severity by mitigating the factors that may influence the decision. So it will assess the issues, whatever the security, whatever the missing it detects, then it will assess those type of missing security, and then it will try to mitigate it. And then download the patch for testing, and it will download for future testing, and then test. Install the patch first on the testing machine to verify the consequences of the update. So first test it before you finally install in your server, and then deploy. After testing, after the test, you can now deploy this one into your server. Make sure that the applications are not affected. When you deploy your patch system, then make sure that it will not affect your applications, and then maintain. subscribe to get notifications about the vulnerabilities as they are reported, because every patches, if there is a new vulnerabilities, then you will get a notification. So that please make sure that you are using the license version, and as well as you have the subscription with them. And now identifying appropriate sources for updates and patches. So what we can do, we have 3 things to do now. First, make the patch management plan, and that fits the operational environment and business objectives. First, you have to make a patch management plan, because you have to comply with the business continuity plan, because you cannot do anything by stopping your business. So you have to make a plan, and then find appropriate updates and patches on the home site of the applications or the operating system vendor. So you have to find out the appropriate updates and patches. So first you need the patch management plan, and then you have to updates the patch management update. You have to find out the updates and patches, and then in a recommended way of tracking issues relevant to the proactive patching is to register to the home site of the receive alert. So what you can do, you have to register with the patch management. You have to subscribe it so that you can get the alerts to be a proactive. So installation of patches. So you will get the secured patches by World Wide Web. So you will have an automatic installation, and you can have a manual installation of patches. Now, implementation and verification of security patch and upgrades. So how you can implement and verify. So before installing any patch, verify the source. You have to verify the source from where did you get it, and then you use proper patch management program to validate file versions and check some before deploying security patches. And then the patch management tool must be able to monitor the patch system, and then the patch management team should check for updates and patches regularly. So the patch management tools, Microsoft has the baseline security analyzer. This is the I think this is the very good and as well as most popularly used patch management tools. So you can use this one, and it will checks for the available updates to the operating system, Microsoft data access components, and the SQL servers. It also scan for computer for insecure configuration setting. So if you install this one, it will also check that is there anything wrong or wrong configuration settings or not. So if it has, it will give you the alert, or it will give you a notification that you are in risk. For example, in here the pest management, the MBSF generate a report that security assessment. Automatically it assesses the security, and you are giving the severe risk if one or more critical checks failed, because maybe you did the default setting, and only for that since you did the default setting for this region, it is recommended that please check your security checking, and then you will find something, you put the default setting. So this is a very good tools for security checking. These are also few pest management tools, so you can check with these are as well. And web application. web application security. So there is Hunt Dynamic and as well as Stalker web application security scanner. What these are do? These are automatically check the web application security and as well as its organization web infrastructure against various web application security threats. So it will check dynamically. It will check that whether there is a vulnerability or there is any problem in your networking and as well as in your web application. And what mstalker do? Mstalker is a web security scanner to such vulnerabilities such as SQL injection, accesses, and known attacks. So these are the two web security tools. You can use these two. One is for SQL injection or vulnerable SQL injection and accesses and known attacks, and another one is it will check the web application testing and as well as the infrastructure vulnerabilities. So I will now request um, Mr. Monirujjaman to run the web attacker from the last web server attack from the last class. So this is the last lab from the last class. How we have we have some steps. We have some steps where we can how we can attack the website. The first step was information gathering. If we go to there, yes. So here for the web server attack methodology, we have the information gathering, how we can gather information, and we'll get information from the robots.txt file, and then the web server footprinting, and then what we can do, we can mirror a website and then scanning for vulnerabilities. So now Mr. Monirujjaman will show this.
Hello. So we'll show some practical oriented thing from the last class, and uh, lots of people reported that the robot.txt file is not found, and I just checked some website, Facebook and Google, and I can see it here. You can see this is facebook.com/robot.txt. So all of those information are there. So how robots.txt work? So user agent applebot. So applebot will not access those directories such as Ajax directory, album.php, checkpoint. Applebot is not allowed. So if we put user agent star here, so all it will be applied for all agent for all of crawling, such as Google, DuckDuckGo, and some other search engine. Next, you can see user agent Baidu. I think it's a China-based search engine, and they are not allowed to crawl this Ajax, album.php, checkpoint, and some others directory. Bing board, then Google board, then you can see Google image board, and they specify MSN board, Naver board, and you can see it's all are here. And then I want to show you the google.com, and see you can browse it from this link. google.com/robots robots.txt, and you can see all of this list is here. So what does it mean by user agent? Go to the left. Okay, so I would like to show you how Nmap you can. Last class we talked about Nmap, and you can simply install Nmap using this command. Control C. I already have this, and you can just install Nmap, sudo apt-get install Nmap, and it will automatically install Nmap in your local machine. So what you can do with Nmap? You can scan a network, such as if I want to scan my network, suppose first of all I need to get my this is my interface name WLP, and this is my IP. And if I want to scan which network, which device are connected with this same network, I can simply do a scan here and map. And I can put the IP. So the scanning is starting. So I can see there is only two network is connected, two devices connected with this network. One is a gateway and another is my computer. So simply you can use this Nmap for scanning, and this is a full scan. And in our last slide you will find a full documentation of the scanning, and I think you will understand it from there. So next, I would like to show you a scanning tool. If you want to scan for SQL injection in your web server, you can do SQL injection manually, or you can use another tool called SQL Map. I will show you. This is the technique for Nmap. You will get it from here. And STTrack is a software for Windows. You can simply download it, and this is not too much technical. You can use it easily and download it and just put the website URL. TSC Hydra. This is another brute force tools, but we already showed you using Burp Suite, so you can use either TSC Hydra or use Burp Suite. Okay, so let's move to SQL Map, and this is a Python-based tool and SQL Map, and this will do automatically scan and it will find the SQL injection in your website. So how to use it? First of all, you will have to download this zip file from sqlmap.org. So here is the project, and you don't need to install in anything. You just need Python installed in your computer, so you can run SQL Map. So just need to write usual SQL Map Python, then SQL Map .py. Then you can start the scanning, and you need to put put your URL here. So how I can put URL? So you need to pass U and just put the URL. So it will scan localhost. It will start scanning, but right now we don't have this localhost, anything in localhost. So in real life it will work, and in next class we will show you more details of SQL map. And yeah. So I think this is all for this slide, and from next class I will show you some other tools, how to use it and how to install it.